Welcome to our second session. The first presenter for the second session is Musammad Fatima Akhtar Kohli, and she is a fourth year second semester student in the Department of Statistics, Begum Roquea University, Rangpur. And the title and the topic, research topic she's gonna present is about predicting in-hospital mortality of patients with COVID-19 using machine learning techniques. So I would like to Kohli to proceed your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. A very good noon to all. Today's my selected topic is predicting in hospital mortality of patients with COVID-19 using machine learning techniques. For beginning, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Assalamu alaikum all. Today's my selected topic is predicting in hospital mortality of patients with COVID-19 using machine learning techniques. Let's start my presentation. Dear audience, this is my paper. My paper published on 24 April 2021, and this author was Fabia Teza, Gulia Lorenzani, and Delia Azolina, and all of others. Dear audience, my paper is all about COVID-19 hospital mortality in COVID-19. So I want to talk about some background of coronavirus. As like as coronavirus disease is an infectious disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Second is the virus primarily spread when people talking, breathing, or otherwise exhaling, as well as those produced from coughs or sneezes. First detected in Wuhan, China in late 2019 and has set of a global pandemic. There are some rationales of this paper, such as this paper aims to identify predictors of COVID-19 in hospital mortality, testing set of machine learning techniques. Second is comparing their ability to predict the outcome of interest, especially for in hospital mortality prediction. The objectives of this paper is the present work provides insights for the prediction of in-hospital mortality of COVID-19 patients using a machine learning algorithm. Dear audience, this is the study area where the authors study for this paper. The study involved patients with COVID-19 proved by the PCR test admitted to the Ospedale Riuniti Padova COVID-19 Veneto region, Italy. Veneto is the 18th largest region in Italy with a total area of 18,398.9 kilometers per square. It is located in the northeastern part of Italy. Here's the important issues that data collection. Every paper has every paper has an important issues, as like as data collection is the more important topics in the paper publication. Here this slide, I want to say everybody to how to collect the authors their data. First is socio-demographic characteristics. Second one is clinical parameters. Third one is medical history, and fourth one is laboratory data. Dear audience, here's this paper used some statistical analysis, such like as descriptive statistics, which is reported as first quartile, median, third quartile for continuous variable. percentage for categorical variable, Wilcoxon type test for performed for continuous variable, and Pearson chi-square test for appropriate for continuous variable. Now, some machine learning techniques used here, such like as RPART. This method is prone to overfitting on training data. SVM, support vector machine. This is used for the algorithm consider the hyperplanes which maximize the SVM algorithm consider the hyperplanes which maximize the margin. Then gradient, then GBM model. This is it's trained to improve the already trained RPART. And random forest, the method merges the DT output to increase the model's generalizability. Dear audience, this is the result this paper. I will try to short this paper. First result is subject admitted to the hospital in the first period are significantly more likely to suffer from diabetes. P-value is 0.031 and less likely to suffer from dementia. P-value less than 0.001 and from cerebrovascular disease. P-value is 0.019. No significant difference were detected in the distribution of the other comorbidities. The random forest algorithm outperformed the other MLTS in predicting the hospital mortality. Figure 1, here's the next slide. With a ROC of 0.84, 95% confident intervals. The range of the range to 0.78 to 0.9. The next result is the median age of the subject enrolled was 74 years and it was lower in the first period compared to the second period. Median of 70 versus 78, p-value less than 0.001. Audience, here's the graphical representation, plot representation, and here's the panel A and panel B. Here this figure is comparison of the performance of the machine learning techniques algorithm. Panel A presents the F score measures and panel B presents the ROC. Here's the figure. The random forest algorithm outperformed the other machine learnings in predicting in the hospital mortality with a ROC of 0.84. Such results were confirmed when the pairwise comparison were made supplementary materials. Then the next plot or graphical instrument we show here. Here the panel A and panel B. Here figures the random forest variable importance plot panel A. Here's the panel A. We show some random forest variables. Panel A and panel 2 ROC curve on the random forest prediction. The panel B. The median resampled accuracy is 0.86. That means it's a good fitting. Here's the graphical representation of this paper overall result. Here's the figure tells random forest ROC and accuracy as the availability of the data encouraged. The database was ordered according to the hospitalization date. Random forest were built on the first 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 2000, 200, 220, 240, 260, 280, 300, 302, and 304 hospitalized patients. The ROC and accuracy measures were reported according to the different sample size. The performance was computed by turning and developing the random forest tool for the cumulative fractions of the sample. Here's the result summary. The present study showed that the random forest is a feasible machine learning algorithm to stratify the mortality risks in a sample of patients admitted to a COVID-19. This tool has been developed using a different set of baseline variables, including socio-demographic one, laboratory data, instrumental parameters, and clinical measures. An impressive number of risk stratification tools for in-hospital mortality in COVID-19 patients has been developed. Here the conclusion, the present work provides a useful tools able to assist physicians' decision-making in facing the COVID-19 emergency. Furthermore, the feasibility of machine learning techniques in this research context has been shown, which represent an added value of the present work, since machine learning techniques are able to overcome the limitations of more traditional statistical techniques. Thank you all. This is all about my presentation, a short presentation. There have any questions you would like to feel free to ask me.
Victory, could you please go back to the title? And
Okay, sir.
I would really thank you for your nice presentation. It was very nice, concise, and the slides you presented were very good.
Yes,
So,
sir. Thank you, sir.
if you have any other question from the students, I would request the first year student or third year students are here. If any question? If it is not, we can go to our next presenter, Mr. Waresul Alam Jahan. He's going to present his topic, scientific topic or paper presentation today. So, Waresul, you can start your presentation.
Siddiq sir.
Yes, Atul, are you here?
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, Atul, for joining.
Yeah, I have joined this session from the beginning. And Fatima Akhtar Koli present her paper very attractively. I think this is the attractive style to present the PPT file or any types of presentation. It is very much concise. Okay, but I have some query about the slide number 11.
Oh, okay, sir. Obviously, sir. Waresul, please stop sharing your screen.
Oh, already Waresul.
You can change myself.
Waresul, stop sharing your slide.
Stop sharing your screen, Waresul. Koli, you can share your screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Slide 9.
Slide number 11.
11. Okay, sir. Please give me some time.
Maybe you could pass.
Sir, this
13, maybe 12.
12, 13. Yes, sir. This is. Sir, this is
In
11.
this slide, you have, I don't know, maybe you have used this figure from the paper, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so you have nothing to do, but I guess when you express your opinion about this figure, you have pronounced sometimes rope. What do you mean by rope?
Sir, rope means receiving operative characteristics.
Oh, that means in scientific community, it is usual to use the term as a ROC curve, ROC value. Like
Sorry,
this.
sir. Okay,
Not
sir.
rope. Okay.
Okay,
This
sir,
is
sir.
my opinion or suggestion.
Obviously, sir. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Next time you should say
Yes,
this
sir.
is ROC value.
I'll
ROC
try
score.
next time.
And panel A part, you have used the x-axis F. What is F? Instead of a explanation of the presenter, audience or listener cannot understand this. F. What is F only?
Oh, sir, please again. What is?
Panel A, you have used the x-axis F. What is F?
Sir, I can't understand.
In this slide, panel A,
Yes, sir.
in x-axis and y-axis, what are these values? I mean,
Sir,
This is a measure or what? F.
yeah, measure of what?
oh,
F score something, sensitivity, recall, precision.
sir, sensitivity is the sir.
No, what is F? Euroto sir told you
F.
what
I
is
want
F.
to know about F, just F.
Sorry, sir, I can't understand.
This is-
Anybody can answer the question.
Anybody
Sir,
can
Amit,
answer, yeah.
sir, I can
Okay, no
answer.
problem.
I x-axis sensitivity and y-axis sensitivity,
No.
because
No.
true y-axis true positive and sensitivity, and x-axis specificity.
Maybe you have told something about
Sir, can I try?
Yeah, I can try.
Yeah.
Sir, in x-axis, we can see the rock, that means ROC values, and in y-axis, we can see the machine learning model, random forest.
No,
SVM.
Euroto sir told you what is mean by F in the
F, yeah.
F
just
is
horizontal axis
F1
is panel
score.
A.
F1 score.
What is this score then? This is a measure of testing the accuracy. Exactly.
Maybe I hope everyone in this presentation or curious about the F. I mean, I guess this is the F1 score. In here, I have also another question, but I think because of short time, I will ask personally later. So go ahead and thank you, Polly.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Okay.
you, Atul,
So much.
for your participation in our second session. Now, Arasul, it's time. The floor is yours.
I'm really grateful for this opportunity, sir. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Mohammad Warisul Alam Jahan, a student of 4th year, 2nd semester at the Department of Statistics of Begum Rokeya University, Rangpur. Today, I'm going to talk on my selected topic, and my topic is prediction of dengue outbreak in Selangor, Malaysia, using machine learning techniques. So here is my selected paper. It was published on 13th January 2021. The background of this paper is dengue fever is emerging mosquito-borne viral disease over 3.9 billion of worldwide peoples, and Malaysia, a Southeast Asian country, has experienced cases of dengue since 1902. Selangor is a densely populated and urban state in Malaysia, containing 5.79 million of countries and 31.53 million inhabitants. The rationale of this study. Malaysia continues to lag through comparisons of different predictive models and was in search of identification of an optimum model. This study seeks identify spatio-temporal dengue hotspot areas in Selangor. Malaysia determined the association of climate variables with dengue fever outbreak. Based on systematic view, risk mapping studies have mostly been descriptive, lacking validation and predictive values. Hence, there is a need for additional tools such as studying climate and mobility data in dengue prediction. Objectives. This study will exemplify that machine learning has respectable potential for the prediction of dengue outbreaks, to identify spatiotemporal dengue hotspot in Selangor and evaluate machine learning models for predicting dengue fever outbreaks. Now the study area. The study was done in 5 districts in Selangor. They are Hulu Selangor, Gombak, Klang, Petaling, Langat. Now the data collection. The data contains 5 years data from 2013 to 2017, and that data was registered from eDengue V2 system. And the climate data such as humidity, rainfall, temperature, wind speed was obtained from the meteorology department. So the data collection method is cohort method. Variable used in here. There are several variables. First one is dengue outbreak. It is a binary variable. Then district, average rainfall, maximum temperature, average wind, and etc. etc. The dengue outbreak is the target variable or the dependent variable here. It means the outbreak will occur or not occur. Data mining model used. There are several models are used here: CART, classification and deviation tree, artificial neutral network, support vector machine, and T-augmented naive Bayes. The classification regression tree uses Greeny as a splitting criterion for a categorical data variable. The artificial neutral network is a complex relationship between the input and output variable. The support vector machine of 3 types: linear, polynomial, and the RVF. It analyzes data for classification and regression analysis. And the T-augmented naive Bayes based on the Bayes theorem. Now the result. From table 4, there are indicated areas that show that the Klang recorded the highest number of outbreak. You can see here. And the Hulu Selangor has the least level of outbreak. Here is the CART table in SPSS output. Based on the CART decision rules, no outbreak occurred in 2013 when weekly humidity was more than 83.8 gram per kg. However, when humidity was less than 83.8 gram per kg and rainfall was between 2.3 and 3.2 millimeter, outbreak occurred. From 2014 to 2017, outbreak occurred when humidity was less than 68.7 gram per kg and maximum temperature was more than 28.95. You can see here several nodes by CART model. There are 2 tables for support vector machines, and from them you can see all the 3 models: linear, polynomial, RBF, selected weekly of the year as the most important predictor. The result in table 2 demonstrated that the linear as support vector machine model performed better than both polynomial and the RBF kernel. And this is the naive Bayes TAN model. And from the TAN, we get the probability of an outbreak to occur in Gombak in 2014 with a wind speed 2 meters per second is higher than the probability of an outbreak of not occurring. Furthermore, case X would be classified that the outbreak occurs. There is a little calculation: outbreak for outbreak, wind speed 2, 2014, the level value 0.02 and 0.21 for this. And this is a rock curve. Based on results presented table 1, table 2, and a rock curve fitted that there is overfitting problem. Overfitting problems exist for card, super support vector machines, for polynomial support vector machine, for RVF, naive Bayes, and artificial neutral models. Only the support vector machines for linear model was consistent for both training and testing samples. And there is based on testing support vector machine linear model, accuracy was 70%, sensitivity was 14, specificity was 95%, precision was 56. And perform better than other card, tree, augmented, or ANN. Out of 100 cases, only 372 for dengue outbreak yes, and 925 cases for dengue outbreak no. The result for the balanced dengue data showed the sensitivity for all models had increased. All model is still showing the overfitting problem except the support vector machine linear model. Now the summary. The summary: the Klang district had the highest number of dengue fever outbreak, while Hulu Selangor had the least from 2013 to 2017. In 2016, dengue fever incidence was highest in week 8 and 9, while maximum temperature peaked around week 16 in the Petaling district. Based on card decision rules, no outbreak occurred in 2013, but when there was more than the humidity was more than 83.3, but however, when humidity was less than 83.8 and rainfall was between 2.3 and 3.2 millimeter, outbreak occurred. The probability of an outbreak to occur in Gombak in 2014 with the wind speed of 2 meters per second, outbreak occurred. The result for the balanced dengue data shows the sensitivity for all models has increased. All models still exhibit overfitting problems except for support vector machine linear model. Now the conclusion: machine learning models are useful for classification and prediction of dengue fever outbreaks. The application of machine learning models for prediction of dengue outbreak can provide vital information to healthcare authorities so that they can better prepare for dengue fever outbreak. Machine learning models has great potential application in epidemiology and disease outbreak studies. Now the strong point and weak point of this paper. The strong point: first, the study exemplifies that support vector machines using a linear kernel based predicted dengue outbreak without overfitting. This study serves to further validate support vector machine as a disease prediction tool and increase knowledge about its precision and accuracy. Support vector model, which has been proven to be very effective with the time series prediction dengue. Now the weak point: this study has several limitations. One of them is being missing data. There are several missing data. All models still shows overfitting except for support vector machine linear. The study findings may not be generalized to other countries due to the meteorological element, as it was for only Malaysia. And that was all. Do you have any question?
So what is
As a topic?
the presentation was very nice. I would rather say it's very clear. I think you already learned all the things related to this paper. Your presentation, except like you use so many animation, so we got some problem. But overall, your explanation was very easy and simple, so that the participants can understand. What I get one wrong pronunciation from you maybe. ANN. What is ANN?
Artificial neutral network.
This is not the neutral. This is neural.
Neural network.
Oh, sorry, sir,
Exactly.
neural network.
Artificial neural
Neural network.
network. So that was one fault. And could you please tell me about the kernel function? Do you have any idea? Like in support vector machine, right? There are many kernel function are here, right? Linear, sigmoid, or activation function maybe. What is kernel function? Do you have any idea?
The kernel functions are actually I forgot kernel function.
Maybe your Atul sir can help you.
Yes, sir.
Atul, are you here?
Yeah. There are different types of kernel function. That's why in SVM they call the different names of the kernel function. So before presenting this paper, I think you should know from the Google or somewhere about this kernel function. For support vector machine learning, there are many types of kernel function. Without knowing about the kernel function, you will not be able to explain about the, for example, RBF, linear or something in the situations. Just you have used this term, that's why you can use the RBF or something. For example, if you use Gaussian kernel, then you can use the Gaussian type.
Gaussian for normal.